intro to algebra. This is to make corrections to your work so that on your second attempt, you can get 100% for the practice quiz. Okay, so the first thing here is asking you which is the graph of y equals 3x. There are a couple ways to figure this out. One is that you could, if you really weren't sure, you could just make a table of values, right? And if we plug in 0 for x, we get 3 times 0 is 0 for y. And if we plug in 1 for x, 3 times 1 is 3 for y. So we're looking for a line that has 0, 0, and 1, 3. So that has to be D. Another way you could see it is by knowing that this is the same as 3x plus 0. We're looking for a y-intercept of 0 and a slope of 3, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. So either way, we need letter D. Okay, so this one has us matching the equations to the lines. And the way that I think is easiest to do this is by matching up the slopes and y-intercepts. Okay, so this one, y equals 4. That's got a slope of 0, because this is the same as 0x plus, and a y-intercept of 4. So that's got to be this line D, right here. It has a slope of 0. So notice that line A must have a negative slope, and I can see here that it's got a y-intercept of 4 and a slope of down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. Okay, so a negative 1/2 slope and a y-intercept of 4. That's got to be this equation right here for letter A. All right, letter C. It intersects the y-axis here at negative 3 and then goes up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So that's a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of negative 3. Line B also has a y-intercept of negative 3, but it goes down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. So this one has a slope of negative 1/2. The same slope as A. Notice those two lines are parallel. Okay, same game here. This black line, which is labeled A, that's a vertical line. So every point on this line has an x-coordinate of negative 3. So I know that this one is going to have to be x equals negative 3. And then this horizontal line that I see here, every one of these points on this line has a y-coordinate of negative 3. So that's going to have to be y. So also we know that has a 0 slope, this line B. So 0x plus negative 3. But we usually just write y equals negative 3. Line C goes through 0, 0, and has a slope of down 1 over 3. So down negative 1/3. So this is the same as negative 1/3 x plus 0. Okay, line D also goes through 0, 0, but goes down 3 over 1. Down 3 over 1. So a slope of negative 3x. Now, if I didn't know how to pair any of those up and I got stuck, I could also do the same thing that I did earlier, which is make a table, right? Take each equation and make a table to match them up. Okay, so there's an invisible one here. So my slope is 1 and my y-intercept is 4. So here we've got negative 2 is the coefficient of the x, so my slope is negative 2. Make sure you don't pick the negative 2x. The x is not part of the slope. And my y-intercept, this is the same as plus 0, so my y-intercept is 0. Y equals negative 2, this is the same as 0x. So the coefficient of my is 0, and my y-intercept is negative 2. This one we might want to do a little bit of calculation for. It's telling me that negative 15 is the x-coordinate, and it wants me to find the y. So I'm just going to take this equation, and in the place of x, I'm going to put negative 15. Negative times a negative gives me a positive, so 0 is the y-coordinate that goes there. Okay, so the slope. Remember, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So here I'm going to do, I might even write down my points. Remember, minus and negative is the same as plus. I can reduce that to 2/3. All right, let's see which one does those correct calculations. Oh, these are the exact calculations that I did. So I know that's the one. Okay, this one's going to require you to write something out here. It's first asking me to calculate the slope. So I'm going to use these 2 points. In the numerator, I subtract the y values, and in the denominator, the x values. Okay, so my slope is 25, or 25 over 1. So let's remember what that means. Remember, that's the change in y over the change in x. And here the y is the number of students. So this is going to be my change in number of students over my change in number of years. Remember that triangle is just a short way of writing change. Okay, so that tells me that the number of students is changing by 25 every time the year changes by 1. Okay, and here's just an example of how you can type your math in here. I might be able to edit this so that you can also maybe put in a math equation. A slope of negative 1/2. So that means it's going to have to go down 1, right 2. The only one that even has a negative slope is B, so it's got to be that one. And this goes down 1, right 2. But I have a none of the above choice here, so I better check and make sure that really does have a negative 1/2 slope. And in fact, it does. Okay, so we're going to calculate the slope here. Let's show our work. Now, be really careful about your order and your signs here. It's easy to lose that negative sign. So this has a negative slope, and that shouldn't be a surprise because the line is going down. So my slope is negative 25. And what does that mean? Well, the 25, the negative 25 represents the change in money, and this is the change in number of days. So that means that the money is decreasing by $25 every day. So let's see which answer is most like that. The amount of money that is spent each day. All right, and that's it. So make sure that you make any corrections and get 100% on your second try, and you'll be all ready for your quiz on Thursday.